Good evening. Welcome to Dispatch, the weekly show designed to keep you on track as you build and operate your layout. I'm Roy Smith, your dispatcher. I'd like to thank you for joining me again tonight, whether here in the studio audience or out there somewhere in cyberspace. If you're a model railroader, then you're in the right place. Coming up on tonight's show, your layout photos, the question of the week, your comments, a big shout out, and a special first ever guest appearance on the show by Justin Case. Justin says he's a conductor for the Strasburg Railroad. In any case, Justin is going to tell us the 10 things you probably will never hear a model railroader say. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight, so don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, first up on tonight's show, your layout photos. Each week I invite you to post photos of your layout in a Facebook group called the N-Scale Union Pacific Evanston Subdivision Group. And each week, many of you do just that. Then I bring your photos over here to Dispatch to share with everyone during the show. So once again, I have a bunch of layout photos to show you, and here they are. Now, when Dispatch ends tonight, be sure to go over to the Facebook group, join the group, and post a photo of your layout there because we want to see what you're doing on your layout. It doesn't matter what scale you model in. I will put a link down below in the description to this video that will take you to the Facebook group. When you see this photo of Echo Canyon on my layout, you will know you're at the right place. Next up, the question of the week. Dean Danielson suggested the question for this week. The question that Dean suggested is, how many hours on average do you spend working on your layout each week? And here's how you responded to Dean's question. Some of you said you spend 0 hours working on your layout each week because you don't have a layout. But it seems that 10 to 15 hours per week is the most preferred amount of time that you spend working on your layout each week. But we really need to qualify these responses. The average number of hours you spend working on the layout can vary significantly from week to week and even day to day. One week you may be able to spend a lot of time working on your layout, but the next week you may spend little or no time working on it. There is a bunch of reasons for this. For example, you may be able to spend more time working on the layout during weekends than during the work week. And frequently, other things in life get in the way of the hobby, things like extra time on the job, traveling, and medical issues. Some of you prefer to be outside during the summer months, may spend more time indoors working on the layout during winter months. You may feel more energetic and productive and get a lot done during some weeks, and other weeks not so much. Some weeks you can spend a lot of time in the train room, yet end up making very little progress on the layout. And if you're retired, you have more disposable time to spend in the hobby, in theory at least. Here's something else. There can be a big difference between the time you spend working on your layout and the time you spend doing other things in the hobby. These other things in the hobby might include working on the layout at the club you belong to, doing research and planning for your layout, maintaining your fleet of locomotives and weathering your rolling stock, watching videos about model railroading, fantasizing about the layout you hope to build, and just running trains instead of actually working on the layout. All of this means that it's difficult to say with any precision just how many hours we actually spend working on our layouts because we don't punch a time clock. And one other thing seems certain. Some people are concerned that they may be spending too much time working on the layouts and neglecting their families and other responsibilities. But at the same time, other people are concerned that they don't spend enough time working on the layout. Let's face it, time is one of the biggest constraints that we model railroaders face. There seldom seems to be enough time for the hobby. So much to do and so little time. I've given a lot of thought to Dean's question and have concluded that this is how I spend my time in the hobby during a normal week. Expressed in percentages, it turns out that I spend 80% of my time or more making videos about model railroading, 15% of my time working on the layout, and 5% of my time or less running trains. This discovery has come as a shock to me. To me, it means that perhaps I should be spending less time making videos, even though I enjoy doing it, and more time working on the layout. Maybe this is why it's slow going on my layout. Dean, thank you, I think, for making me realize this with your question. Now, for the coming week, I feel that we need to come back to a question that we have touched on before, and that is, what is your least favorite thing to do in the hobby? For example, is it bench work, wiring, ballasting, speed matching, or something else? Right now, I feel that we need to come back to this question because I have noticed that lately that some dear friends in the hobby have become exasperated or disillusioned with model railroading. I feel that we need to ask ourselves why this is happening. So in the comments down below, I want you to identify the one thing that you least like about the hobby. Be sure to mention only one thing so that the results of this survey don't become corrupted by multiple responses. I will tabulate your responses and share them in Dispatch next week. Watch next week's show to see the answers to this question. Remember, the question for the coming week is, what is the one thing you least like about the hobby? I look forward to reading your responses. And now, it's time for your comments. This past Saturday, I uploaded a video called Your Comments About Speed Matching. This was the fourth and final episode in a series about speed matching. In this video, I reviewed the previous 3 videos, and I responded to your comments to the previous 3 videos. Let's take a look at a clip from the video. Hi, I'm Roy Smith, and I'm sharing my technique for speed matching with you. In fact, that's what I do on this channel. I share the hobby of model railroading with you as I build and operate my N-scale Union Pacific Evanston subdivision layout. One of the most challenging tasks in DCC model railroading is speed matching your locomotives. It can be tedious and time-consuming. So why would you want to do it? because you may want to run your locomotives in multiple unit consists at the head of your trains, just like real railroads do. And of course, you want to be able to do that without the pushing and grinding that can occur when locomotives are run together without being speed matched. That's why you would do it. Today's episode is the fourth and final episode in a series of videos about speed matching. In this episode, we will first review parts 1, 2, and 3 in the series. Then we will discuss the comments that you posted in response to those 3 videos. And many of you posted comments in response to Saturday's video as well. Here's what a few of you had to say. Dave of Dave's Trains wrote, "Great series. I really appreciate all of the time you put into this series. As a matter of fact, I'm fixing to go downstairs and start experimenting with speed matching some of my locomotives. Anyway, thanks for sharing." Dave, it's always a pleasure to share the hobby with you, even in challenging topics like speed matching. Have fun experimenting with it. John E. wrote, "Roy, demystifying JMRI for basic changes as you have made was a good idea. I have downloaded it to mess with. Thanks for your efforts to share your experiences and knowledge." John, I'm delighted to hear that you have downloaded JMRI. It's a good idea to mess with it for a while, as you say. That way you will start to become familiar with a pretty complex program. And Rob Tiemann wrote, "Thanks for all of the nice info on speed matching, Roy. I have learned a lot watching the past 4 videos and hope to be able to apply some of this in the future." Thanks for your comment, Rob, and thanks for watching. I want to thank all of you who responded to the video and all of the other videos in the speed matching series with your comments. Now, if you still haven't seen the video, your comments about speed matching, I will put a link to it down below that will take you directly to it. Be sure to watch it after dispatch ends tonight. And now it's time for tonight's big shout out. And tonight's big shout out goes to Dave Thurber and his HO Scale Crooked River and Eastern Railroad. The railroad is a freelanced short-line railroad set in Ohio during the mid-1980s. At that time, the Chessie system still served the area that Dave is modeling, and he says he's a big fan of the Chessie system. But you might also see other fallen flags of the CSX running on his layout, including the B&O, C&O, and Western Maryland. And you might see more modern locomotives running on his layout because he isn't completely locked in to modeling one particular era. He likes both older and modern equipment. He says he's mainly interested in having fun and learning about model railroading and sharing the hobby with you. I really like Dave's layout, and I think you will like it too. Let's go over and take a look at it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Crooked River and Eastern Railroad. So I do a little video tonight on some old school equipment. Show you what I've been working on. Come around this side of the layout here. Watch her come out the tunnel. I scenic this area over the weekend. I showed you the other end of the peninsula. I think last week or whatever, I worked on that last weekend. And so this here area I've been working on, did about another probably 25, maybe 30 super trees. Some of it's little pieces, parts. This is like I guess it's called lichen. It's reindeer moss covered with ground foam. I did the mountain. Tried to kind of make it look like it was coming out of the mountains, but then going into just more like rolling hills out in the back there, going behind more just country, rolling farmland or whatever. A shot of them coming out through here. And here's the this is the backdrop going down the middle of the peninsula. So this side here is a little more mountainy with the mine area and stuff. That's the backdrop from Affordable Backdrops that I put in.
Okay, you've had a chance to see a bit of Dave's layout right here on Dispatch. Now I want you to be sure to go over to his channel and see the rest of it. Don't forget to subscribe while you're over there and tell Dave that Roy Smith sent you. I will put a link down below that will take you to his channel. And one more thing, Dave is one of 4 co-hosts for On Track Tuesday. So don't forget to join Dave and the other hosts for On Track Tuesday live streams every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And Dave, I hope you're out there somewhere watching this. If you are, thank you for sharing your wonderful layout with us in your videos. And thank you also for co-hosting the live stream on Track Tuesday, where we model railroad friends can get together and share our knowledge and experience with each other. And now I'd like to welcome to the show Mr. Justin Case, a railroad conductor who joins us tonight by Skype all the way from Strasburg, Pennsylvania, where he works for the Strasburg Railroad. Justin, hello and welcome to Dispatch. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me tonight. It's a pleasure to be here.
You aren't nervous, are you?
Like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
Don't worry, Justin. You'll be just fine. You're among friends, and I already feel I know you like a brother. Now, I understand you have brought something to share with us here on Dispatch tonight. But first, can you say just a few words about yourself?
Well, I've been working as a conductor for the Strasburg Railroad for going on 22 years now, ever since I retired from Amtrak back in '97 when they closed down the Pioneer route.
By the way, Justin Case, I love your name.
Well, thank you. My parents named me, and I've had to live with it ever since. I like to say every day that I have to set 2 alarms just in case the first one doesn't go off. And I brought a snack with me tonight just in case I get hungry during the show.
Justin, you do know, don't you, that a whole bunch of us are coming to Strasburg for the 2nd annual big get-together of model railroaders next May 16th and 17th?
You betcha, I do indeed know it. I can tell you that the whole crew here in Strasburg is looking forward to it. You're all going to have a fun time, that much I can guarantee you.
I am sure of it, Justin. I've been to Strasburg myself before, and I love it there. Well, I know you brought something to share with us. Do tell us, what is it?
Well, I wrote down these 10 things that you probably will never hear a model railroader say.
Really? The 10 things that a model railroader probably would never say. Interesting. Go ahead, Justin.
I could have spent that time working on my layout. Okay, here they are. The 10 things you probably will never hear a model railroader say. Starting with the first one. My wife says I can spend as much money on trains as I want to. Ha! Next one. You probably will never hear a model railroader say, my wife doesn't care how much money I spend on trains. Now, here's something a model railroader probably would never say to his wife. Honey, let's sneak into the train room tonight for a little fun. Well, you never know about those model railroaders. Some have kinks in their track. Next, I've never had a single derailment. Bah, humbug. I play with toy trains. How about this one? I would rather go to a discotheque than a model train store. Ha! And I have unlimited time, money, space, and skill for the hobby. No model railroader would ever say that. Here's one. Shopping for clothes is more fun than model railroading. Would a model railroader ever say that? No, I don't think so. Have you ever heard a model railroader say, I can do better wiring after drinking a 6-pack of beer? Right. Now, every real model railroader drinks a ton of coffee, so a model railroader wouldn't say, I never drink coffee and run trains at the same time. And here's one. A model railroader probably would never say, run some trains. Nah, I'd rather not.
Whoa, Justin, that's 11 things.
By golly, you're right. I could go on with this all night.
I'm sure you could, Justin, but the producer is telling me to wrap up this segment of the show. Let me ask you, can you come back to Dispatch soon? What do you think, folks? Should we let this old timer come back on the show?
Old timer? Ha! If anybody's an old timer here, it's you.
I guess you're right about that, Justin. Well, thanks again for joining us tonight, and come back real soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Justin Case. Well, that just about concludes tonight's show, but I want to remind you to come back here for Dispatch every Tuesday night following On Track Tuesday, and come back every Saturday morning for my layout updates. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes on this channel. And be sure to respond to the question for the coming week in the comments down below. One more thing. I've uploaded tons of other videos on this channel. Be sure to go over and check them out. I will put the link to my videos page down below. A big thank you to all of you who joined me tonight, both here in the studio audience and all of you out there on YouTube. There's nothing I enjoy more than hanging out with you. Until next time then, happy railroading. I'm Roy Smith, and I will see you again very soon.